Hello, I'm Luke Westaway for CNET. We're here with the Samsung Galaxy S5. We're going to take a look at some of the new software features and some of the new camera tricks. Samsung describes the new interface for the S5 as very clean, and that all begins with the lock screen, which gets a cool new bubbly animation. Once you unlock it, you'll see that things are looking a little bit neater, a little bit flatter, and a little bit squarer as well. One thing that's new is this new settings menu. So if I open the settings app here, you can see that everything is a lot more pleasingly laid out. It feels a little bit less dense than this menu used to. Something else I want to mention is what Samsung calls the one-touch toolbox. That is this movable little dot down here, and whenever you tap that, it brings up a series of shortcuts. If you don't like it though, you can turn it off entirely. As well as a slightly new look for the icons of all the regular default apps, there's a new notification panel that again looks a lot cleaner. You get these rounded icons along the top. If you're thinking of giving this phone to children, you might want to turn on kids mode. This basically puts the phone into a version that's safe for kids, and it has all these kid-friendly versions of apps. So if I tap this little monster with the camera here, you get this kid-friendly camera software. So there are some nice aesthetic changes, but what about this phone is going to make your life more easy on a practical level? Well, if I fire up the settings menu, you might be interested to check out this power saving mode. And if you turn that on, it turns the phone's display monochrome, it dims the whole display, and it restricts the Galaxy S5 to just a handful of basic apps, including the phone and messages. Samsung says this mode will get you 24 hours of standby time with the phone's last 10% of battery. Finally, I just want to mention a little bit about the camera. This is a 16 megapixel camera. Samsung says it's got a sensor that's even bigger than the S4's, and it's got a couple of tricks up its sleeve. One of those is a very fast autofocus. Samsung says this phone focuses in 0.3 seconds, and that's the fastest ever autofocus on a smartphone. Testing it out here in quite dim trade show conditions, it definitely seems to be finding its point of focus very swiftly. So like other Samsung Galaxy phones, this thing has so many camera modes it will be impossible to cover them all right now, but one thing I do want to focus on, get it, is this, the selective focus mode. Now what this does is it lets you select your subject, and then when you take the picture, it automatically blurs out everything else, keeping it out of focus. And the idea is that you get a more professional photo. Once a photo is processed, you can then choose what part of the photo you want to be in focus. We found that when we were trying it in here, it didn't work particularly well all the time, but we did manage to get a couple of nice snaps, so maybe what it demands is a bit of trial and error. Samsung's also added a new HDR feature, and what that means is that when you turn it on, you can see how your HDR photo will look. You don't have to wait until you've actually taken the photo. What do you think of the Galaxy S5? Are you tempted to buy, or are you feeling a little underwhelmed? Let me know, and check out cnet.com for much more from Mobile World Congress.